Welcome, everyone, at home and in person. This is the April 8th meeting of the Town of Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission. It is 7:06 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's call the roll, starting on my right. You can figure that right out.
Westland present.
Condon here.
Monroe here.
Riley here.
Mayne present.
Rick Schultz here. And online, we have Sarah and Georgia, I believe. Okay. Well, we have a short agenda tonight. Let's go to the public hearings. We have number 4 on the agenda, mixed-use design district. That is going to be continued until our next meeting, I think, on April the 22nd.
Correct.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, you want to acknowledge Vice Chairman Bruno will be acting chairman?
Yes, on the 22nd, Vice Chairman Bruno will be acting chairman.
What if we don't have a quorum? You guys can all leave. I'll do it
We'll
by,
find out ahead of time.
I'll do it by myself.
All right, so number 4 is going to be continued. Number 5, SCP.
Excuse me,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Is public participation available?
Yes, it is. Would you like to participate?
Please,
in a
if I may.
general manner? All right, so public participation. Let me just read the guidelines. The commission welcomes public participation and asks that speakers please limit their comments. Speakers are requested to first state their name and address for the record. Speakers may offer objective comments about planning and zoning matters and land use related concerns that should be brought to the commission's attention. The commission will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about the commission, members of the planning and zoning department, nor against any person connected with the town of Monroe or any other individual, firm, or corporation. Speakers are not to comment on any suggested, proposed, or pending application before the commission, except at a public hearing for that purpose. No discussion is permitted by any party or any members related to pending or ongoing litigation. Chair has the discretion to limit comment time. Generally, 3 minutes per speaker is allotted. The chair may also allow additional time. Written statements are always welcome and are always provided to the Planning and Zoning Commission members. Please mute your cell phones and your microphones when not speaking. All right, so now we'll have general public participation. Are there any members of the audience?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I may. My name is Joel Green. I practice law in Bridgeport with the law offices of Green and Gross. It's my pleasure to appear before you this evening on behalf of Peter Metropolis, trustee, who is an owner of property in Monroe that, as you are aware, abuts property that's been the subject of various proceedings before the commission at 64 Cambridge Drive and 4 Independence Drive. And first of all, I want to thank this commission for allowing me this opportunity, and indeed allowing the entire public the opportunity to have public comment. As this commission is probably aware, it's, the ability to have public hearings and engage in public comment is a subject of great discussion in the state of Connecticut right now. And I appreciate that the town of Monroe has and continues to allow the public, such as myself and my client, to participate. As you can anticipate, and as I had stated earlier, I appear before you this evening on behalf of my client out of his concerns regarding the condition and activities on the premises at Cambridge Drive and Independence Drive. I had talked earlier to Mr. Schultz and had discussed the possibility of addressing the commission at a later time, but my client felt that it was important that I at least bring some items to the commission's attention. And I recognize that the commission has spent a considerable amount of time on this in the past year, and that an application was pending before the commission that was withdrawn. However, my client just wanted me to update you on some issues that have arisen, and they are this. At the time of the hearing before the commission, at the request of the commission, the applicant had produced a sampling of intake manifests for materials that were received at 64 Cambridge and 4 Independence, and they were voluminous and they were redacted in certain respects. And certainly members of this commission have repeatedly asked for information regarding the nature and extent of fill that had been brought to the site. And as I've indicated in the past,
Excuse me, Mr. Green. I think this is what you're talking about is related to a proposed application. Is that right, Rick?
I think he wants to bring a separate issue to the commission's attention.
Because this should not be related to that application, because it's not fair. This has not been noticed, and the public has not been noticed if you're going to be speaking about an application now.
I'm not speaking about any. I'm not speaking about any pending application at this time.
Or proposed application.
I don't know. I don't know that there's a proposed application to P&Z.
There is not.
I just want to be clear on that matter.
Is there a proposed application in front of us, Rick?
Nothing has been submitted, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, then go ahead.
So what my client did at the instruction of my client, I did an analysis of the manifests that were provided to the commission and identified the various projects and sites that were identified in each of the manifests. And we have submitted FOI, or requests pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act, to each of the municipalities from which the materials that are alleged to have been brought to that site originated. And the results of that FOI request have been troubling, and we just thought we would bring that to the attention of the commission. And they are troubling because in each instance, either the municipality had no record of a property involving those demolition materials, which may happen. But in certain instances, or in many instances, the municipalities had information regarding a demolition project, and they had applications for demolition permits. And in 10 or more instances, in no way did the application ever indicate that materials from the demolition project were to be disposed of at 64 Cambridge and 4 Independence Drive in Monroe. So in each instance, the application for a demolition permit requested an indication as to where the demolition material would be disposed. And once again, in no instance that we've seen yet has this site been identified as the end location for any demolition material that was the subject of any of those projects. We are at a loss to explain then how there are manifests that indicate that material came from those projects. Among the municipalities that we FOI'd was the town of Stratford with respect to the demolition of the Stratford High School. And I'm aware from past proceedings before this commission that the applicant has confirmed that material from Stratford High School was deposited on this site, processed, and then used as fill. And yet the town of Stratford has not provided any documentation that indicates that the Cambridge Drive and Independence Drive site was a permitted site for the disposal of those demolition materials. So what we are asking this commission to do, and in several instances, the applicant indicated that its records would be open to the commission. Once again, commissioners have asked repeatedly for information on what has been brought to this site, processed, and what has been used for fill, what has been then, after processing, removed from the site. And once again, there's only a very limited sampling that's been provided, but we think that it would be important for this commission to engage in a dialogue with the owner of that property, to demand that this commission be provided with complete and unredacted records as to what fill from where in an unredacted way has been brought to that site, what material has been processed on that site, what material has been used for fill on that site, what material has been removed from the site, so that this commission, in the exercise of its jurisdiction dealing with grading and filling activities, and the public can fully understand what has occurred. And so we would ask that this commission place this item on the agenda as a discussion matter. And I know that there are significant concerns on the part of many commissioners, on the part of many citizens of the town of Monroe. And we think that this is within the jurisdiction of this commission to engage in that discussion, and certainly preliminary to any application that may ultimately be filed by this applicant. And I know that I've taken up more than my 3 minutes here, but it's a matter of great importance. And I hope that the commission will agree. And my client thought that it was important that we bring this matter to the commission's attention. It is my client's intention to have me prepare a full analysis of the results of our FOI request. We will, of course, provide a copy to you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission and staff, so that you can understand the basis of our concern. And I want to thank you for, once again, the important opportunity for public comment. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Are there any other members of the public here tonight that would like to address the commission? If not, then we'll move on to our agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you're welcome. Number 5 on the agenda is SCP 2021-05, file number 1630A, 390 Monroe Turnpike. This is the McDonald's restaurant. This is a hearing, a public hearing. Notice has been read at our last meeting, 2021. Rick, are there any new exhibits?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, exhibit number 5, updated site layout.
Commissioners, I'd just like to remind you that the closer you put your papers to the microphone, the more feedback that we have from you. So please just try and be cognizant of that. Thank you.
My bad.
Okay.
All good.
And we have, I believe, Mr. Russo.
Chairman, members of the commission, Chris Russo, Russo and Rizzio LLC, here on behalf of McDonald's Corporation. I will be as succinct as possible. The sun is falling. It's a beautiful night out. I'm sure you're all looking forward to going home and having a drink. Really, we made our presentation at the last hearing, so there's not much for me to add. Again, this is a retrofit of the existing McDonald's. We are not changing the footprint of the restaurant. We are not expanding the site disturbance on the property. We're working within the bounds that exist now to add in a double drive-through. Really, the only things I want to point out is that we, based on the comments that we received at the last hearing, I think it was Commissioner Panicia asked about adding at the end of the each of the islands where you order, after you order at the menu board, that there be a sign indicating to those cars that were done ordering that they then had to merge from right here where they're in separate lanes into one lane. So we've added that in at the end of this island here, and then just a little bit beyond this menu board where it currently exists now. And it just tells those vehicles to merge lanes. And then the other revision, which basically every commissioner asked for, which is to remove the parallel parking spaces that we had on this southern side of the property. So we removed those parking spaces and replaced it with a shaded area that just says proposed location of 4 deferred parking spaces. So there'll be no striping. If in the future there ever is a need for additional parking, which I highly doubt, considering if things are moving anywhere, it's farther away from people needing to park to go into the restaurant as the drive-through business ramps up year after year for McDonald's. And so, but we do have that marked that this could be a location for 4 parking spaces. With the removal of the striping, it expands this bypass lane to 22.3 feet wide. And obviously it's a one-way, so it's plenty of room for any vehicle that is looking to bypass the drive-through to get around, including our delivery trucks and the garbage truck can also navigate that turn. And that's really it. We just, with this additional time, while staff was preparing a resolution and comments, we just made these couple of changes based on your comments in the last hearing. And that's really it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Russo. We'll poll the commissioners, starting on my right with Commissioner Panici for any questions.
No question. Thank you for providing those items of change. Other than that, I have no questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Westland.
No questions.
To call out the names. You could just go in order.
Yep, Condon, no questions.
Ambrose, I have a question for you. How are you going to prevent the cars from queuing next to each other?
You mean queuing next to each other along the
Yeah. What would prevent?
right here, like at the beginning?
Yeah. What would prevent you from doubling those cars up?
There's the pavement is different. So there's and there's this sign right here, this pavement marking right here that shows the drive-through entrance as being there. We don't have any type of, and none of the restaurants that I've done, because I've been doing these retrofits throughout the state for them, they don't have any type of barrier here along this portion of it, but you can see, let me see if I zoom in, if you'll be able to see it. Right here, there is a border that blocks, that would block somebody from being able to come in from here. It comes to right there.
How far does that border go back?
It goes right here. So behind this car, that I'm trying to see if I can highlight, but if I zoom in here, so you can see it right. You can see it right here. It makes this curve right here, and it goes all the way to here.
Yeah, because the only problem, the issue I have is because it is pretty tight there. And if there's cars parked in there to try to get food and people start doubling up and try to cut the line onto the second kiosk over there, it could turn to be a problem. It could turn to be a safety problem, in fact. So I would like that to be maybe brought back a little bit further so that can happen.
So extend it back here.
Right, so that can't happen. So they'll have to go around and then go back through. I think that would solve a lot of problems for me. I don't know about the rest of the commissioners, but I could just see that happening.
Yeah,
And I've been there a couple of times to pick up food, and I see, it's pretty tight there. And going around that corner is kind of tight. And if you tie up that whole area with cars going all the way down, nobody's gonna be able to back out of there.
yeah, I don't think we would have a problem with that. Tiago, who is our site engineer, I think is on the call, and if there was an issue with it, he could unmute, but I don't see a problem with extending this back so somebody couldn't try to just jump the line.
That's why, yeah.
They certainly wouldn't be a popular person if they tried to do that, but
No, I know that, but I'm saying that
I
happens
see what
every
you're
day.
saying. Yeah, I
Right.
see. Yeah, I don't see a problem. I think we could agree to a condition of approval that this be extended farther back to prevent anybody from jumping the line.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Bruno, you're next.
No questions.
No questions.
I have no questions. So then back to you, Mr. Russo. What do you want us to do tonight?
If you could vote on approval, that would be great. Again, requesting that 4 parallel parking spaces be designated as deferred parking spaces, and then we would agree to a condition of approval to extend this border back an additional car length, I guess maybe would be the way to word it, to or maybe to in line with the southern edge of the existing restaurant to ensure that nobody would cut the line. We'd certainly agree to that as a condition of approval.
Okay, then with that, we can go to the public. Since this is a public hearing, are there any members of the public here tonight that would like to comment or other on this application? Any members of the public here tonight? Hearing none, then we will close the hearing.
Thank you,
Brian
commissioners.
Lowe's. Moving along, we have some minutes tonight. We have minutes from March 4th. But with the chair will entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes for March 4th. Do we have to do them separately, Rick?
Yep.
March 4th.
Have a motion, I need a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Overall,
Westland, yes. Condon, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
And that does that. We have the minutes of the March 18th Planning and Zoning Commission. Chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve March 18th meeting minutes as
We have a
drafted.
motion, we need a second. Second. I have a motion and a second. I'll call the roll.
Westland, yes. Condon, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
And the motion passes. Okay, we have pending deliberations and determinations. Number 7. First one on the agenda is RAA 2021-01, file number 1015E, the last mile support facility. We have a draft, I believe. Yes, we have a draft of an approval. And so on this, we have O'Reilly, we have the regular members. So any discussion on this tonight?
Mr. Chairman, just a point of clarification. Tonight, we're doing the commission's doing the text amendment.
Correct.
That has to go into effect first. The legal will go in next Wednesday, and then on the 22nd, we can do the SCP. Both are on tonight, but you can only do one.
Right.
You have already instructed staff to write favorable resolutions. So tonight is the text. Thank you.
All right, then we can vote on adoption of the text amendment at this point. All right, so let's call the roll.
Westland, yes.
Do we have to make a motion?
Motion second.
Oh, I thought we did that. All right.
No, nobody.
We will entertain a motion to accept the RAA 2021 as drafted.
I'll make a motion to accept RAA 2021-01, file number 1015E, last mile support facility.
I have a motion. Need a second?
Second from Ambrosi.
Motion and a second. Now we'll call the roll.
Westland, yes.
Condon, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayini, yes.
Now, can we deliberate on the SCP?
Yeah, you can, once again, just direct, and then direct staff how to write a favorable.
You don't have a draft. You want to wait for the
We're gonna
draft?
wait. We should wait on that, right?
Yeah, 'cause-
You have to wait, because you got to have an effective date.
We need to direct the staff then to produce a draft for the next meeting,
so Rick, we'll have a draft for the next meeting.
correct?
Yeah, 22nd.
Okay,
So Leon, we'll get the draft and then we can.
then you can deliberate.
Yeah, you really need to, everyone read it very carefully, because the conditions are critical.
Okay, great. So we closed the hearing on McDonald's tonight, and we do have a draft approval for McDonald's, SCP 2021-05. Chair will entertain a motion to, well, we have to approve it before we discuss it, right? Have a motion.
We're gonna make a decision, right.
Yeah, so I'll entertain a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept.
2021.
Ooh, did I jump the gun?
No, go ahead.
I make a motion to accept SCP 2021-05, file 1630A.
With the additional condition as requested by
Tonight.
Commissioner Leon, okay?
With the additional Leon provision.
To extend the border to prevent car jumping?
South to the south,
Yeah,
was it to the south edge of the building?
yes.
He said he was gonna go to the end, so that'll work.
I have a motion. We need a second.
Second from Ambrosi.
Okay, now let's see. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, so we could, Rick, we can approve this and you can write it in, right?
Yes, oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Any discussion?
I'm good with it.
If not, then we'll call the roll. Regular members.
Westland, yes.
Condon, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayini, yes.
Yeses have it, so we have approved SCP 2021-05. That's it then. We have nothing else to deliberate on, right, Rick?
No correspondence.
No correspondence? Okay, then we'll go to the commissioners' reports. Have no reports?
Well, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can you ask the zoning regulations subcommittee if they're available next week? We're ready for phase 2 to address the outside storage. We're having the public hearing on the 22nd for the permanent outside dining, and this will be phase 2. So if anyone is ready for next Monday, that would work well, or Tuesday or Wednesday.
I would prefer not to do it Monday, personally.
All right, well, let's see, what dates are good for the rest of you guys?
It's my birthday.
Oh,
Rob, Westland, you're out.
17th?
Here, correct. I'll be,
Do you want to be here though, right?
I'd like to be, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to work around your schedule.
When are you available, Rob?
I'm coming back Wednesday, so,
Wednesday or when, next week?
yeah.
The
We
14th?
gotta make it after that, Mike. Can we do it on Thursday? No. Can we do it next Thursday?
Sure.
The 15th?
I can do it Thursday. You can do it Thursday, Rob?
Thursday, yeah.
5:30?
Mike,
looks like,
you wanna make it for Thursday, Rob?
You know what? I do.
Okay, great.
I do. Rob's bringing donuts since it's gonna be Thursday, but Rob will do
Well,
that.
it's your birthday, bring some
a
cake.
cupcake with us.
Oh, bring a cake.
Bring a cake.
It'll be a late birthday present. Thursday, April
15th,
15th, tax day. Old tax day.
Not this year.
5:30.
Old tax day, I said.
Yeah.
5:30.
We're doing the, Mike?
Land use?
Yeah, annex, in the annex.
Okay, do any of the commissioners have anything to report?
Well,
Yes?
what was Green talking about?
Well, I had a question. I didn't know if it was appropriate to ask a question or it's open
Right.
that can of worms, but this,
Well, no, because there's no application in front of us,
Mm-hmm.
but, so what's the deal with
does
this?
Stratford have any documentation of where the materials ended up at all?
But he's saying that they don't.
They don't have documentation that it ended up in Monroe, but do they manifest any of the rest of the fill to go anywhere? Do they have documentation or did they simply just not hang on to anything?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna find out.
Because that would show whether or not he's trying to, you know what I mean?
I just want to say something. Most often, if the soil is not contaminated, then it doesn't need a paper trail. So therefore, if it's clean, they don't need to know where it's going.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. If material comes to a place and it's not clean fill, does it have to go to recycling place first, then come here?
Absolutely. It's a state certified recycling facility.
Then why is it here?
And that's what we're gonna get to. And Mr. Chairman, should we have a special counsel at that meeting?
We should?
I'm asking.
Well,
Well,
wait a minute, we're not having any meetings yet.
Well, I mean, it's up to the committee.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Attorney Green is asking the commission to assign this as an agenda item on the 22nd. It's your call, Mr. Chairman.
Well, let's talk about that.
well, yeah, let's talk about
I mean,
it.
I just
I want
want
to give a full report, but I think special counsel should be here to guide the commission. If you do it.
Well, if there's a question about where the material came from, then I think we need to know, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, wait a minute now, they have the town has no documentation, so they're assuming it's clean. The quarry, for lack of a better term, has papers
Yeah, the manifest.
that it's clean, manifest. So who has to prove what to whom here?
I just want to add something else. There's, Mr. Green is saying that he wants proof that it's clean, but he doesn't say that it's not clean.
Right,
We're going overboard to prove something that we don't have to prove.
there's no burden on anyone to prove it's clean. I mean, prove, to show that it's,
No,
I have one.
basically, Mike, wait a minute, hold on.
no burden on us to prove it's clean, as the documentation indicates that it was clean.
Mike, he said in a public meeting, okay, that they had to take that stuff and make clean fill and to remove the old stuff. So that fill is not clean fill that's
Who
on
said
that
that?
property. Kevin Soley said when I questioned him. I said to him, what are you gonna do with all the rebar?
Well, I think there's a
in the
difference
material.
between clean and
Yeah,
contaminated.
Yeah, there's
Contamination.
two different conversations.
Right.
Rebars are not contaminated either.
No, but I'm saying to you is, the fill that's on the property, under the state law, if it's going to be used to be filled, I guess it's supposed to go to recycling place first, and then go and be transferred out as clean fill. We're not a recycling facility here.
If it's contaminated, right, but there's.
Not if it's contaminated. Any material that doesn't meet your criteria as clean fill has to be brought to recycling place. Am I right or not?
You're absolutely right.
Right. So the material that's on that property is not clean fill.
Because of rebar?
Because of rebar, asphalt shingles, whatever's in there, we don't know, because I guess what he's saying is, people are saying that that's not their stuff.
I don't think they said it's not their stuff. They just didn't agree that it came from.
From there. Well,
That's why I'm saying, do they have any record of it going anywhere? Because if they had other manifests.
That's,
it would look like
that's
yes.
why
Yeah.
we need to get, I guess, either get the material from his manifest that he has that aren't, I guess, do we have any of those, Rick?
Yes,
What do we
yeah,
have?
partial.
What does that mean?
The manifest is,
Does it have names and everything where it came?
yeah, and some of it's redacted, but we don't have the whole manifest.
Well,
And who redacted it?
Why is it redacted? Yeah,
Right,
There's information on there that's personal in nature.
gotcha.
I understand that, but that means that we can't trace it where it came from.
Oh, no, that part you can. And that's the whole premise here. Attorney Joel Green is submitting a report to this body identifying situations that they want to bring forward to this commission's attention. And then they're going to ask you to sort it out and give them some type of guidance. So we don't, there's a lot of what ifs going on right now until we read the report. But I think we need special counsel on this. We need guidance.
Well, that's, I think, which way we should go then.
I'm just
I feel like this is an obstruction lesson here, is what we're dealing with here, and we're going to get spun in circles if we let it continue. This is
Absolutely.
an exercise in obstruction.
I think.
I just have one.
Go ahead.
I have a question. If they're taking in fill and it's clean, does it matter where it came from?
No,
Does it?
but the fill's not clean.
Says who?
Said Kevin Soley.
No, he just said there was
I think he
rebar. He
said
said
it-
stuff had to be sorted
needs to
out of
be
it. He didn't say
sorted.
it was contaminated
Right,
soil.
but under state law.
So it's not,
Okay, for people like Stratford High School and all these municipalities, that if the fill's not clean, it goes to a recycling facility, then it gets cleaned, and then it's sent out to places to fill holes. That's the way it is, right?
Yeah,
I think you're confusing clean with contaminated.
No.
Clean,
Rick, if it has rebar
Wait
in
a
it,
minute,
it's
like,
considered not clean?
it's unacceptable fill material.
You can't put it in.
Tar is unacceptable. Tile is unacceptable.
Right, but
Asbestos is unacceptable. Lead paint,
that's considered not clean.
that is correct.
but I think he's cleaning it before he's filling it in.
Well, Sully did say that they would be separating, like you said, rebar from and dealing
I
with.
think the issue is more, why are they allowed to separate it on that property?
And the answer is no,
Okay.
not a recycling.
So then that's more the issue than,
Anything, yeah.
than
And that's,
everything.
and that can come back.
All right, I'm done.
If we don't address
I
it.
also don't want to make it impossible for them to work with this site.
But what are we going to do about that?
We need to
That
make
could be
sure
cost prohibitive.
that what material came in there is not like a material that, if they said it came from Stratford High School, then we need to know if it definitely came from Stratford High School. Anybody can have paperwork saying it came from Stratford High School, but how do we know it came from Stratford High School?
Right.
How? You need to go by the paperwork. How else are we gonna know?
Exactly, but.
who are we gonna pay to sit there and see where it came from?
Yeah, I mean, but
No, that,
they're not. They're just,
commissioners, the state of Connecticut Deep normally does this, assistance. They are saying no at this time.
No what, to what?
Assistance to the town of Monroe and to Attorney Joel Green,
Why are they saying no?
because they're saying there is no evidence.
They don't want to get involved.
we gotta listen.
It's thrown in circles.
So I'm just confused right now. I mean,
We rely on the state of Connecticut Deep. One of their divisions that does this type of inspections.
Rick, let me ask you a question. Has the town ever reached out to Deep?
Come again?
Town staff ever reached out to Deep? Have we reached out to Deep at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wetlands has, and
he just said they won't help us.
yes,
Okay. And did they send us something back that they don't want?
nope, they said an inquiry was established and it went absolutely nowhere.
And they have paperwork to send us to that?
Oh, we can get confirmation.
Get confirmation,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, okay.
And then we can speak with the council.
I think that's a good idea, Mr. Chairman.
Before we,
Can we even talk about this?
If you want to put it to rest, it would be advantageous to have counsel here.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
I want
so
to make
we have-
sure we're legally
He's
allowed to
bringing
even
up a
talk
concern
about
about what's on the property, that if it's clean fill or if it's not clean
all right,
fill.
so
or
let's
whatever.
ask
And so
council.
I guess
Yeah.
that's not something that we could
But it's
discuss it
contested
because it's not
steps.
an application in front of us.
this. Yeah.
But
But to
I-
put it on an agenda and discuss it is a second question.
Well, basically, I don't know, because I imagine they're gonna come back in front of us, and I imagine this is gonna be brought back in front of us again anyway.
It's
So
a vacant property that they want to
basically,
develop, so.
We should know the answer before it comes back in front of us. I think that's, what it's.
Right, well.
But we have to know the answer when it comes.
Someone, somehow, some way has told them that they can separate and do all that kind of stuff on that property. Because if they're taking in Stratford High School, which, let's say it is Stratford High School for now.
They took that all in elite.
I'm just saying, let me finish.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, at some point, somebody told them, and I'm not saying it's anybody here, I'm just saying somebody, because that property's been a disaster under an extremely old regime. It started then. Somebody told them that they could go on that property and they can bring stuff there and they can separate it and do all that kind of stuff. I think I have more of an issue with that I don't think they should be able to separate it on that property. I don't think they should.
It's not allowed in the town of Monroe.
Okay, so if it's not allowed on the town of Monroe, they came in front of us saying that that's what they were gonna do there. They were gonna take in material, correct, unless I'm hearing something totally different, and please correct me. But when they stood there, they said, oh, we're gonna separate it, we're gonna put the rebar in one pile, we're gonna put this over here, we're gonna put this over here. But if we're not, we can't allow that either, right? Because then at the end of the day, we don't know, A, where they're getting the stuff then. We don't know what piles they're putting what in, and then we don't know what they're doing with the piles once they gotta go. So I think when they come before us, it needs to be pretty black and white. Like, you can do this, you're not doing this. Like, we gotta, this property is such a disaster, and I'm tired of hearing about it. And there needs to be some sort of resolution to it, and there needs to be some black and white to it. We gotta eliminate the gray. And I know it's difficult, and I know we don't do it on every project, but this one, we gotta give them guidelines of what they can and cannot do, and we have to go with that. That's just one commissioner speaking.
And I agree with you 100% on that, but it's, every time it's brought in front of us, and I'm not saying because I don't want to discuss an application or anything like that, but every time it's brought in front of us no matter if it's that site or not, it's like, well, we want to take this material and we want to make clean fill out of it and we want to put that in the hole. And then it's a question, well, what are you going to do with the old stuff? We're going to take that off the site. But basically, and that's why I asked them that same question, then this is going to be a recycling yard. No, it's not, because we have the material there, we're just going to recycle that material. Well, then it's still a recycling facility. And they never had any authorization to bring any of that stuff, to recycle any of that stuff on the property. And that's why, and being his concern with the intervener and stuff like that, I think that we have to make sure that we do our due diligence.
Absolutely.
And before we go any further with anything, and find out what's going on here, and find out where the material came from. We really need to know that. And if he's wrong, then we need to get documentation stating that he's wrong. Because I don't want to move along on something and not know what's in that ground. Because they're going to dig it up, they're going to process it, and they're going to dump it and get out what they have to get out of there. And I don't know how many yards are in there.
Ooh.
Rick, how many yards of material do they have to process?
That's a good question. They have 300,000 that's stockpiled. But what needs,
They have 300,000 of stockpiled of what?
of overburden, the stuff that came off the top, and stone dust.
And then what about the material?
The materials, don't know that answer.
You don't know how much that is?
No, and that will be provided too on the 22nd.
Okay,
We need to know all the answers on all these issues.
all right, so let's just go that route then.
Okay,
So
We'll talk to council about the next step on that. Whether sorting material is allowed. And okay,
If they're not allowed to sort that material, what are they gonna do with the stuff that's there now?
That's an issue the commission's going to have to deal with.
They would have to.
Because if that's so-called Stratford High School there, and that has rebar and stuff in it, like, and we're not gonna let them sort there, correct?
It's got to be removed.
Would have to be removed,
Right.
which then comes back to the original, are you removing stuff from the property? Are you not? What are you removing? What aren't you? Are you filling it? Are you excavating it? It's a mess.
Yeah.
But, you know, well, it's fine, but I think that we just get ahead of it. And I'm not saying just for that, I mean, just to make sure because, you know, I'm sure that this all not gonna go away. I'm sure the intervener's not gonna go away, and I'm sure that Mr. Carpenter, he's not gonna go away.
This project,
Sure.
this,
Commission has-
Stratford High School was taken in by the previous owner, not by Mr. Carp. I mean, we're not.
I'm not, but again, I don't, again, whoever took it in, took it in.
Right. It goes with the property.
Again, yeah, he
Right.
bought the pile of garbage.
He bought the pile of
It's gotta
garbage,
be,
knowing that it
yeah.
I
wasn't-
mean, the previous owner, if we're not, I mean,
It's not like, you know.
Yeah.
previous owner's done a lot over there that,
Yes, but I'm just saying the current owner didn't bring in.
I'm not saying the current owner did. I'm just saying that the
There was
property,
material brought in that he owned, when he owned it.
Yeah.
There was material brought in, and he documented it.
all right,
this mask keeps
well,
falling.
let's move on. And
We as a
I
commission,
just have one other thing.
Oh, hold on.
Dominic was talking.
Oh, go ahead, Dominic.
I think we as a commissioner, with the advice of legal, should look at this. What's the best resolution for the town?
Right. Which is true.
Of course.
That's what we do with every,
That should be our concern with every project that comes in front of us, be it a patch of grass to $1 billion building. I mean, that's,
So Rick, could we?
got more of those $1 billion buildings?
Before our next meeting?
Oh, yeah, I'll get any document they have that confirms that a complaint was registered.
Okay.
do they,
And that they.
do they
won't
get back
do
to you
anything-
quickly?
Not that a complaint,
No.
but they won't do anything to help us.
Yeah, they have said no repeatedly.
Is it in writing though? I would
No,
want.
of this verbally, yeah.
I know, but they don't get back to them quickly either, so that's the other.
It's a completely
I know.
different set of circumstances up in Hartford.
Right, so he calls and
Yep.
they may not get back to him until
I know.
after our meeting, you know,
Correct.
you don't even know. They answer the call though, quickly.
Yeah, I have to contact people,
Okay.
so, yeah.
so DEEP has a very poor definition of what clean fill is. In fact, they leave it up to, if demonstrated that is inert and does not pose groundwater threat, it's considered clean fill. So if we want to go down this road, we're going to have to come up with our own definition of what clean fill is in Monroe. So it's going to be a lot more homework because there is no good definition of clean fill in the state of Connecticut. And they know that, they've known that for 15 years, or not, maybe not 15 years, but for many years, and have been working on it. So, Leon, did you have another
Yeah.
matter to bring
Well,
forward?
just no, because there was something in the paper about that the Planning and Zoning Commission supports Tony Scott. And that's, should have
It
been
was-
redacted, and that was, and I don't think anybody did it, but.
It does say the Republican members of.
On the bottom.
Yeah, it
And
does
it
say
says, the
from,
headline was, Planning and Zoning Commission supports Tony Scott.
that,
And I don't
that would have
think
been
that
a
the
journal.
commission in body supports, I don't think they should support anybody. I know that members of the commission can support certain people, but I'm like saying that when it comes out the paper, somebody should have redacted that.
Yeah, no,
But I just wanted to bring
I
that up.
agree with you
Because
100%.
I agree 100% that I like to stay neutral on that stuff, especially when we're a commission.
I mean,
Be,
So it is, I have it right here. The title is Republicans on Planning and Zoning Support Scott.
no, there's another one in another paper that said.
What paper? This was the Monroe Sun.
Yeah,
What other, their
there was
paper?
one other. I saw, it was different than that.
It's the Hartford Times.
No.
It was the Canton
You
big.
know what I'm saying? He knows what I'm talking
I know,
about.
but please show that to
Yeah.
me, please, because I will take care of that, because that should not have happened.
No.
I just wanted to say something along that line. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I got calls from people in Newtown. And you must have seen what the selectman in Newtown, how he responded. They wanted me to make a big deal out of it. And I said, no, I think the commissioners might have just made an error. It probably wasn't that their intention.
If I believe it
So was it the Newtown B?
Yeah,
it was somewhere that,
Well, where did you see it?
You got calls
had an
on
issue
that?
with it.
I got calls,
I heard about it too.
the selectmen and four
They
other,
had changed it,
Yeah.
but it was out there, the Planning and Zoning Commission supports Tony Scott. And I'm just trying to just.
what they asked me, just to make it level, what they asked me, was there a meeting where Scott was brought in? Did you bring in the other?
And I said, no, that never happened. But I just wanted to put that out there, that's all.
So I'll leave it alone.
I mean, it'd be,
Sure,
That's
if
the
somebody
problem.
on our side did it, you guys would have the same issue with it too, so. it's-
I'm with you. I mean, full disclosure, I was the one who sent out those letters, so I want to make sure that they were
Ryan,
written.
it's the patch.
Tax.com,
Patch.
tax.com.
It's on the patch?
Yeah,
Patch?
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think I sent it to them.
Well, so they got it somehow.
Yeah, no, pretty fancy there.
You there? Somebody has it.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
I'm just laying it out there. And I figured that if that was the case, that you would say something about it, Ronnie. I know you would.
Yeah, no, I would have, I mean, because I specifically spoke to the Republican members in the
Yeah.
Republican caucus and discussed it to them, and I would never.
Okay, well, that could have just been an error on
The press,
media's part.
they picked the title and they should.
I mean, at the end of the day though, Leon, I don't
Oh,
think,
go easy.
Leon, I don't think Ryan wrote the article, and I don't think he wrote the
Oh,
headline either.
you don't think he wrote anything, he just sent it in?
I think he wrote something, but I don't think he wrote the headline. Did you write the headline?
Not the title, it just says "Dear Editor" and then signed at the bottom.
Yeah.
So,
Right, you're fine, don't worry about it.
well, you know, I do respect the members.
Leon wants to stay neutral, but I got 32 signs
No,
on
I know it.
his yard. He's neutral.
This is a neutral
If
commission.
I had your number, I would have reached out myself.
Yeah, I gotta give that to you. We should
Yeah.
48 Nickel signs on his yard.
search on this.
Just go.
Okay, I, that for the commissioners'
I'm gonna
report.
figure out who to reach out to there.
Yes?
I can't hear you.
Is that it for the commissioners' reports?
Yeah, we're
Yes,
good.
sir.
Go ahead,
All right.
Mike.
And we'll go ahead with land use staff reports.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I provided town planners report. ZBA's April meeting was canceled. Next meeting is May 4th. Nothing from the siting council. Regulations Subcommittee report. The last meeting was held on March 16th to discuss the text amendments, which are coming up for a public hearing on April 22nd. The chairman called a meeting on April 15th to discuss the phase 2, which will deal with outside storage. Zoning enforcement program, the commission directed the ZEO to continue to work on the resolution for 125 Garter Road and 485 Pepper Street. We are working on a time frame to have the vehicles removed from the Garter Road site. That is in violation. Pepper Street, as I reported at the last meeting, no more fill has been coming in. They're using the site for staging. If you haven't been on Pepper, it's really in high gear now for the reconstruction.
Looks good.
So I will continue to report these two items to the commission because I know the commission wants these resolved. The last two deal with chicken coops and roosters, and they were resolved.
That's what I love about them.
Anti-blight, we're moving forward for 337 Monroe Turnpike and 1586, the old Stevenson Post Office.
Yeah.
337, a demolition permit was taken out. Now we just have to have them execute it. And as an FYI, on the building permit for demolition, there is a statement, where does the material go? Okay, just so you know that, all right? The building official asked for that information. 1586, the property across the street from Stevenson Lumber. The owner started painting it and he's repairing the roof. He anticipates selling the property for redevelopment. It's gonna come down.
Oh, nice.
But in the meantime, we asked him to paint it, fix the roof, and he has some outside storage to put it in an area and then enclose it. And then keep the property maintained with weeds. So we have these two important blighted properties on Monroe Turnpike that are being taken care of. Planning matters, the 2021 Plan of Conservation and Development, as reported, the public hearing is April 28th. I encourage everyone to review the final draft. This copy is available online and is also in the First Selectman's office, okay? So that's April 28th, that's a special meeting, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. It'll be a hybrid meeting. Members will be here. Francisco will be doing it remotely unless you feel it's important for him to be here. I don't think that's the case, or?
Okay.
You don't have a problem with him? Yeah, okay.
28.
Our next meeting, as the chairman indicated, is April 22nd. We have the public hearing on the outside, permanent outside dining. So that's coming up. And then we'll have the continuation of that overlay zone that Mr. Solly cannot be in attendance tonight. And that concludes my report. Just emphasis on the POCD. We want to open the hearing, close it. I'll prepare a detailed resolution for the commission to adopt it, and then we're all set. And just a reminder, the next planning document subsequent to that is the affordable housing plan. We have enough information in that to get that document prepared. All 169 towns in the state have to prepare an affordable housing plan by 2022. And that concludes that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Rick. And now the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And the second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.